I don't hear the music.
Coming.
Ooh.
Yo.
That's the
Yo.
And he got it on instrumental.
Yeah.
Bust out a freestyle.
Nah, you know with
this
the
gentleman
Facebook
though, man, right next to me, he been outside though, man. He been outside. He has been outside, man.
Let's see what we got in there. It's right there.
All right, let me share this real quick.
What minute we got in?
Yeah. You know it's stepping night and day.
Boy, don't do that, boy.
Got two.
Man, I had a very busy day today, man.
Yeah?
Yeah. I was able to kick it with my pops and my grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Family time.
Share
On
it.
Super Bowl
Most
Sunday.
Share it with whoever. Like your
Back in this thing.
Yeah. You gonna
Once again.
You gonna kick it off? You gonna kick it off for me, Mr. Sear?
Yeah, like I always say, man, I'm going
All
to try to do it. I'm going to try to give y'all a little bit of Butter Wayne, but I leave that to him, though. With the ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you're now into 35 North Youth Sport Podcast. I'm Coach Mike.
And I'm Coach Stand Up.
Coach D.
I'm Julius.
I'm Johnathan Gray.
He needs no introduction.
Yeah, he
bro.
jumped the gun.
He needs no introduction.
But hey, y'all heard him. Johnathan Gray
Hey,
in
he
the
said he
building.
ain't got time to wait.
Johnathan Gray in the building, man. What we got in
Lord
there,
have
Mike?
mercy. Lord have mercy.
We got John. Won't you tell him, Jonathan, tell him a little bit about who
Trying
you
to-
are,
let me-
where you went to high school.
I'm Johnathan Gray, Lido High School, Funky Town, Texas.
Okay.
Played running back.
Okay.
Won a few state championships. Won a
few.
bowl game. University of Texas running back.
The University of Texas, ladies and gentlemen.
University of Texas.
Not
Look
at
at
home,
boys.
but at Austin.
Cook 'em. And now I'm out here just training kids, training athletes.
Okay.
Trying to give back to the community.
Okay.
Right, yeah, that's what we do it for.
Yep.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this, man. It is an honor to even have you just really sitting at this desk right now, big dog. When you think of running backs, you are the holy grail of running backs that ever stepped foot of Texas high school football. People need to actually take a time and actually Google what you done did, man, because what you have done has been greater than, in my opinion, anything what any running back, any quarterback has ever done. You smashed record books. I'm talking about obliterated them. You know, you can't go through the state of Texas high school rushing category without seeing your name. You're either number one or you're number two.
Right.
No ifs and buts about it. But my question is, and everybody's question around here is, what work did you put in when you were younger to get you to where you at?
Oh, the work. Oh, man. So I started playing football for Hallmark Eagles.
Woo, shout out.
to them Eagles.
Shout out to them Eagles.
Hey, they
Drop
was our
down and
7
get
on
the Eagle
7.
on.
Yeah, you know what's so funny was they were our 7-on-7 King of the North champions
Were
at
they?
12,
Hey,
bro.
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Hallmark
organization.
Eagles. Good, great organization. So I started when I was 8 years old, and my mom needed to put me in something because I was just running around the neighborhood acting bad. And I met up with Hallmark Eagles. I played my first year, and I really didn't like football. Played against the older kids. We had this one cat. We called him Earl the Pearl. And He
Okay.
was about, I don't know, 6 foot, 150 pounds at that time.
Okay.
And he smacked me, and I twisted my ankle. And I was like, yep, never again. Went home, cried. I had to get in a hot bath, soaking. And then rehabbing off my ankle, my dad, he played all the way up to the pro level, and he just told me if you're not gonna just sit at home, you're gonna do something. So went back out, rehabbed my ankle. He put me through a whole bunch of 100-yard sprints and a whole bunch of stuff, and I enjoyed it actually. I like the push-ups, I like the sit-ups, I like to go out and run around, and it felt like I was doing something. So I got back healthy, and then came back that next year, and every time I almost touched the ball, I scored.
Really?
And then every time I was on defense, I made a whole bunch of big tackles, caught some interceptions. So I was like, I might
Started to
actually
like this.
I'm starting to like football. And then fast forward to middle school, every time I touched the ball, I didn't get tackled. And my dad said, now is the time that you're either going to pick what you want to do in life. Either we're going to play sports and you're going to get a scholarship in this, or we're just going to go academic. And I was like, well, I like both. So, shoot, from that point on, it was, he didn't even have to wake me up. It was Sundays. Anybody that spent the night over my house knew we had to wake up early in the morning on Saturdays and go get these sprints in, push-ups, whatever it was to make us better at our craft. And we go out in Pee Wee and win Super Bowls. We go to Everman Bulldogs, win Super Bowls, and then go to middle school and we start winning all the games. And so I was like, you know what, I'm never going to not put the work in as far as what I need to do, off the field, watching film, doing my workouts, making sure I'm hydrated, making sure I'm stretched, making sure I'm sleeping right, make sure I'm putting the right things in my body, because I'm not trying to stop this train. And so we go out, and in high school, we had the same mentality. Go out and ball till you fall, and hit the weight room hard and play for the man on your right and left. And we did that and won 3 state championships. My coach in my freshman year, what was funny is, so, you know, having that mentality of work, I finally get on varsity the 3rd game of my freshman year, and I'm so nervous. I'm pulling sleds the day before the game.
Really?
And our head coach come out there and say, what are you doing, son?
Yeah.
Coach, I need to get this in. I'm nervous. I need to get this work in. I want to make sure that I'm ready and prepared. And he was like, this is not how you prepare your body. And so from that point on, it was just like, I know how to work. I just need somebody to guide me into the right position. And Coach Buck did that. And like I said, we won 3 state championships.
You gave them people in Birdville hell, Coach Skinner. You gave him hell, man.
I had to. Birdville was one of those teams that, I don't know, it was just trash talking going on.
Yeah.
You just had to show them and shut them up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we got the pleasure to play them on national ESPN. So I ended up scoring like 7 touchdowns.
So you showed out.
Sure, you had to show out.
You know how I found out about this man? I was actually on a date with a girl, right? And she shows up like in a mock jersey or whatever, like with your jersey on and everything. And she was like, yeah, we're going to the Elite on Birdville game. Jonathan's gonna do his thing. Like they're the only reason why they're winning and whatever. I'm like, who the hell is Jonathan? Why the hell are you telling me about Jonathan? Who the hell is it? Oh man, you should go out and watch him. So sure enough, I went with him. And my mouth dropped. You know what I mean? Because I'm a year removed from high school football at this point.
Right.
You know, and I was just like, man, this dude right here ran, like your vision, your balance, everything about how you carried yourself on that field was second to none. Yeah. The only kid that ever reminded me close to that was Jamal. Before he made that switch, dude, you and Jamal was identical. You know, on how you guys approached the game, how you guys ran the ball, your balance, man. That's a very, very underrated feature of what you had, man. You bouncing out tackles, man, and the way that you just you kept you kept yourself square along the line of scrimmage or whatever, just in case you had to make a cut or anything like that, man. I love that about your game, man. I was so jealous because you're everything what they say as a complete back. You know what I mean?
Right.
And it's just like I'm in awe of your game.
I appreciate that.
I'm in awe of it, man. Like seriously, bro. Like I'm hey, this the man right here, man. All you running backs, man, try to idolize your game off of this man because he plays it the right way.
You know, the funny thing, you talk about balance. So it wasn't when I was, trying to put in the work and working hard. The balance actually came from just playing around outside. Me and my friends, we would, jump off of not buildings, but like high-rise things that off the ground where we landed and tumbling and stuff off the ground, falling out of trees and stuff, and you have to fall and take off running
a certain way.
Because if not, we throwing stuff at each other and trying to beat each other up. So if you fall, that's your butt. So working on trying to stay square and getting out the ground and taking off, it really came from just playing outside and with your boys and whatnot. So and I feel like that's what a lot of kids nowadays, they don't do. And then we got to wait till high school to get these guys right and get hand-eye coordination and work on balance. The little things that come from when you're 8, 9, 10 years old. Yeah. So parents, if y'all are out there, tell your kids to get outside and don't come back into the street lights.
Preach. Preach. That's from the goat himself.
That's funny you said that. Your era, our era, had the street lights. And this generation that is currently in existence got the cell phones that we have up here right now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They spend more time with these lights on, okay, sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to those kids of this new generation as far as getting ready to be ready?
I mean, it's a whole bunch of combination of things. You know, being on the phone is not such a bad thing if you're utilizing your time correctly, right? I mean, yes, we like to look at the phone and, you know, look at some entertainment, but you also can educate yourself. But there needs to be some type of time to say, hey, I'm putting on my phone and I need to do X, Y, and Z to help me get to where I'm watching on this phone. So all these kids are watching these footwork drills and watching these guys ball out on their phone and not putting the phone down and going and duplicate it in the right way. So I encourage, I mean, the parents. The parents are control the thing. I mean, they're paying for the phone. They're paying for the internet on the phone. They're paying for the limit.
So the problem starts with the parents.
So the problem starts with the parents.
Okay.
And so as a parent, you got to take the time out. This gives you an opportunity to go out and just have fun with your kids and utilize that parent-child time that you don't get because everybody's busy. So, I mean, if you take a designated day to say, hey, whatever it is in the household that we like to do as a hobby and as a family, let's put our phones down and let's do that outside and cook dinner and blah, blah, blah. So
picnic, whatever.
Whatever it is. So, but you have to find that time and, you know, set aside it because it's very important because if not, you're going to end up letting the phone raise your child and who knows
what that's going to lead to.
And what that's going to lead to. So I think parents need to just start to get involved again. That's the biggest thing from what I've seen as training athletes.
So let me ask you a question. And as you head down this path to success, and success at this point, we're talking about getting a D1 scholarship to a major college, a powerhouse college, one of my favorite colleges, Texas Longhorns.
Should have been TCU.
Talk about that process. Talk about that process, that recruiting process. How did they approach you? And others as well, because I know those other schools that came out to you. What led you to choose the University of Texas?
Oh, man, that was a crazy journey for me. So playing football, all I wanted to do in football, I never told my mom, like, hey, I'm going to make it to the NFL, I'm going to buy you a house. I never told my dad, hey, I'm going to retire y'all or anything like that. And my parents did a great job, I think, in my opinion, to say, hey, we've already done our time, whatever it is. Now we're here to raise you. My dad played in the pros, but he never pushed that upon me. My mom, you know, is working in the medical field, and she never pushed that upon me. She just said, all I need you to do is get your academics and make sure you're living the right way. Fine. So that just gave me all the opportunity to just go out and have fun and play because it wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't no pressure. So football was fun to me. Football is one of those things I can let loose, put on a helmet, and go smack some people and go run some people and go score touchdowns. That's all I was thinking about. So you fast forward to high school, and we're just out there, and I'm playing around and, you know, pumping my teammates up, and we're going out and winning games. Well, I'm not necessarily thinking about what school I'm getting ready to play for. I'm thinking about how many touchdowns I'm going to score tonight. And
it was about to hear it now.
How we going to beat this team to no end return. So it was never thinking about, I want to play for Texas or TCU or Alabama. It was, I love my Alito Bearcats and I love my teammates, and let's go out and play. Okay. And then fast forward to that, after my freshman year, I get my first offer from Oklahoma. And so I went and did that camp. And so Oklahoma was one of my favorite schools. You talk about Adrian Peterson, DeMarco Murray. I mean, talking about freaks. So dudes I look up to. Well,
I got to plug this in, but you continue where you at. The University of Texas at Norman, Oklahoma. That's what you're talking about?
So to get my first offer from there, it was like, okay, yes, let's go. That's cool. But what does this really mean? And so my dad did a great job of saying, hey, yes, they offered you, but you ain't done nothing yet. And
Right.
Humble.
What? Anytime that I was like, oh, did you see how much? Hey, you ain't done nothing yet.
He talking to the same cat that
my daddy is always. I'm Big Dog 31. You just a young pup.
But at some point, man, like you said, you got the offer at Oklahoma when you was a freshman.
Right.
What came down to the decision when you made the decision to go to Texas? Like, what was that process like?
So Texas wasn't even necessarily on my radar at that point, and because they had backs and whatnot, and probably about my junior year is when I was like, okay, I understand the recruiting process of not only playing the game of sports, but the business side of it.
There we go.
And so it was like, oh, okay, now I just don't want to go up the street in TCU and just play football. Where can I have the best opportunity to play football and be a part of a big old network that moves mountains and is a part of the whole world?
Now you think about the future.
So I'm thinking about the future if push come to shove, and I'm glad I did because I tore both my Achilles and not knowing, and then now getting into a business, I'm not shook and like, oh man, what I'm gonna do after this football? It's I went to a place to where I've been through ups and downs and turmoil while I was a young guy going through playing football and starting to view the bigger picture. And so once I got done playing from Texas, it was like I got my degree. I have a name for myself. What can I do with that? And so having people in my corner guide me in the right direction. It was like I love helping people. Play sports, put 2 and 2 together. Now I'm coaching youth 7-on-7 and helping young kids training and doing all that stuff. So that's how I came about playing at the University of Texas, and I'm glad that I did because it taught me more than just playing ball.
So at what point did you realize that you just wasn't an average back anymore? I mean, 59 touchdowns in 1 year. Yeah, because that's unheard of. That's mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like, did you ever just walk around school with your chest out like, man, I'm that end, you know what I mean? Like, I'm that guy.
No, I didn't, and it's crazy because you would think like, running for all that stuff, you have to have some type of ego to yourself, right? And it was like, I think I'm better than you in the sense of when we strap on, I'm competing. It don't matter what it is. You got to bring your best because I'm gonna bring my best. It was never like, oh, this cat over here suck or this cat suck. It was like, well, I don't want to lose to him, so I'm always think he better than me, and I'm always go try to bust his butt. So I never did that. And my teammates, it was all love. It was nobody ever was like, oh my God, Jay Gray, we love you, blah blah blah. It was like, okay, thank you for helping us out. How can we help you? Let's put this thing together and let's keep on pushing forward. So having a great teammate system around me and whatnot, it just allowed me to not get too big and stay right above that, under that radar of being too cocky or walking around with my chest out like my stuff don't stink. So it was just, it was a great time, and I'm glad that the people that were in my corner were there. Because
you were killing it better than what Sergio Kendall was doing. You know what I'm saying? Better than what crabtree was doing. Although it was 2 different positions. But the thing that got me was, it was just, I don't think that you got the proper due diligence of what you gotten. You know what I mean? A lot of talk has been talking about Kyler Murray, and I'm just sitting back, and I'm just like, you got a whole freaking pit bull back here that deserves just as much of the spotlight. You know what I mean?
It's one of those things that who's the whole hype around football, right? The quarterback is.
Yeah.
Right. So. And taking nothing from Kyler Murray. He was a beast. I love watching him play. I love competing against him. Just reading the newspaper and like, dang, he did this. All right, let me go out and let me see.
So
what
it's more back and forth.
So going back and forth. So shout out to him because he's one of the reasons why I was out there running and putting so many miles on my leg. But for him, he was at Allen, and shout out to Allen. Offensive line was crazy.
Yeah.
Defense was crazy. So he was in a position he starts with the ball. So whatever he wants to do, he can do.
He in control.
He in control. For me, I got to have somebody hand me the ball or somebody throw me the ball. So
he came from our league, too.
Yeah. I got to have somebody to block for me. So, it's just one of those things that, apples to oranges. So he did his thing. I did my thing. But, yes, I do feel as though I should be up in the talks of me and him. It should be an argument.
You heard that?
It's an argument.
Yeah,
Right.
It's an argument.
You heard that.
So,
You got a former Hallmark Eagles Little League guy. And then you got the Kyler Murray, which happened to come from our league, Louisville Flower Mound Association.
Yeah.
So, would you say the rec leagues or the little leagues, we ain't gonna call them rec, we're just gonna say little leagues, okay, help shape you guys?
Oh yeah, for sure. When I was, it's so crazy now. When I was growing up, and I sound old. When I was growing up, it was just you put a team together from the neighborhood. You sign up in a little league. Y'all play everybody from around the neighborhood, and Dallas from Fort Worth. You have to go compete.
Yeah.
Now it's a whole. This team has an association. This team has an association. So you go from having the old school guys who are trying to teach moral values and trying to help you, not necessarily be the greatest football player, but be the greatest person to making money, and I want you to go be this greatest football player so I can put my name on it. And so I want to put my stamp on it. So I mean, now it's just a whole business as opposed to doing what it's supposed to do and shape these kids into great young men as opposed to being just great athletes. So for us, yes, it shaped us into being great young men because we knew how to have that adversity and then be accountable for our actions and just understand what it is to help one another.
So would it be safe to say the focal point that all coaches should have is to teach the kids how to love first, one another, protect one another,
Right.
and then everything else will take care of everything else.
Everything else will take care of itself. I think, like I said, it always starts with the adult, right? Either way, it's the parent, the coach, somebody from around the neighborhood that's the mother of the neighborhood or the father of the neighborhood. So it starts with the adults. And if we continue to, like you said, teach love, teach care, teach accountability, teach integrity, teach how to work in the proper manner, we'll get back to off the phone more and really understand what it is to just be around and have that communication with other people and know how to interact.
So
now,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go.
I got it. I want to talk about these injuries. You suffered 2 Achilles tears, right? Did you have an ACL tear too? No ACL?
I tore both my labrums, shoulders, and then I tore both my Achilles.
Both Achilles. Now, when you went through those injuries, what would you say mentally helped you overcome that adversity? And what could you tell a kid? Like we have kids in our league. We got one right now that's on my mind, Brody. Young kid, 10 years old, had an ACL tear. And I can imagine what he's going through, getting ready to come back out on the field because he missed his past season.
He was there all year long.
But he was at every game. His daddy made sure he was there. He made sure he was watching his position. That's the testament of a good father.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what advice could you give that kid that you utilized to overcome your injury?
Man, I tell you what, the biggest one, my surgery was when I tore my Achilles. My shoulders, they said you got 6 months rehab, and then you'll be back. I'm in high school. They told me I'm gonna be back, and we did rehab and all that stuff. So I was back on the field and playing with my teammates. So that wasn't the biggest thing, and we were still in high school. Well, now you talk about college, and I tear my Achilles. Now we're talking about the NFL and what we're going to do after football and the academics. And so it's a little bit more adult. It's different. So when I tore my first one, it was, well, damn, this is, excuse my language. This is what they talk about when injuries come and now you got to figure out plan B.
Correct.
And so as a trainer was sitting on there and trying to get my leg to move and whatnot, I'm thinking like, okay, one or two things are going to happen. Either I'm going to just sit and sulk and then make this rehab go longer than what it should, because the mind is a powerful thing. The mind tells the body what to do. And if you have a weak mind, your body's going to be weak. So knowing that, it was like, okay, I got to stay strong because there's always hope, and stay prayed up.
Right.
And so those are two biggest things. And as I had the people around me just tell me, hey, just keep your head leveled and, think positive thoughts, that helped me get through surgery and then rehab. It was, all right, schedule the day, let's go to rehab, let's get it going, let's make sure that I need to be doing what I'm doing to get back on this field and how I can help. So that helped me, and how he can think, since he's young, he's 10 years old, he'll be back, he has time to rehab, take your time, be patient, stay prayed up, and just continue to have fun and be a kid.
Most definitely. So gentlemen like you, of course, you've traveled the world as far as on recruiting visits. You've seen majority of what these campuses have to offer. So here at this current age, we have, a current shakeup of leagues saying, we're Big 12, we're SEC, we're ACC. What was really like the major difference did you see really when you went on those visits? What was the major difference, as far as, you committed to University of Texas. I'm sure that you visited University of Florida. What was the major difference between, like, the facilities?
So the biggest thing for me was, at one point, it was when you first see your first facility, and your visit, you're like, wow, they got this, that, and the third. Oh, my God, look at the field, look at the facilities. Right?
Oh, wow.
Then you go to your second one, and it's like, wow. They got this, that, and the other. And then you go to your third one, and it's like, wait, all three of these have the same type of facility. They got the same racks, they got the same treadmills, they got the same training facilities. So it was like, okay, that can't be a determining factor, because wherever you go, they're going to have it. Speaking of D1 level. So that was a scratch right out my book. And I was like, well, okay, that makes sense. And then you go to, and my mom was always big. Every time we went on a visit, where's the academics? Forget all this stuff right now. Where's the academics?
Shout out to Mama, though.
Shout out to Tanya Gray. So as on our visits, we start doing academics first. Yeah. And so that's when I started to realize, like, who has my best interest at heart, right? And who is actually speaking in reality, as opposed to just selling me a wolf ticket. Yeah. Because coach said, no, you need to say this because we want him. Right. And so Texas was the biggest thing, because Applewhite was like, we like you, we want you, but you're going to have to compete. Great. I love that, because I'm tired of hearing, oh, we want you to come out here and start. I don't want to hear that. I want to compete for my spot to help myself know it's real. And so after he said that, and then we went to academics, and they gave their whole spiel about how, your kid will be set up, his 4 or graduated in 3.5, and this is our steps, and they showed us the process. It's like, okay, this makes sense. They have a whole playbook. They have it drawn out.
All you have to do is execute.
All you got to do is execute. Sound like on the field. When you're looking at a playbook, got to execute. Here's the play. Right. So they showed us a play, and for Texas, that was the biggest deal for me. It was not selling me a wolf ticket and helping me grow up as an adult and get out of that, I guess, that young child mentality and start, preparing yourself for the real world. And Texas was that all-around deal for me. So that's what made the deciding factor.
So they didn't overpromise it?
No. What Texas told me was the truth. And I will give them that. So, that's
so you knew game when you heard game, essentially.
Essentially, the good thing about it is, and some people don't have this opportunity, to have both parents, and then to have a father who played all the way up. Right. So as I'm going through recruiting visits and learning the game of football, he was there in my corner, in my ear, telling me what's real and what to look out for. So,
give me some stuff what to look out for.
Money.
Okay.
Colleges will be like, oh, yeah, we're going to throw you this and set your parents up for this, that, and that. Well, okay, that's cool and all, but how does that help me? Right? Yeah, You're just enabling me to be dependent. Right? So how does that help me grow as an adult? And so that was, that's pretty much all of the money, and then the what kids actually should start doing, whatever position you're in. Look at the depth chart. Look at what.
Yes. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Houston Moore's dad actually taught me that. To actually look at that depth chart. Keep going, man.
Look at the depth chart. If there's 15, 30 receivers at this one school, chances are you ain't gonna play.
Yeah.
If there's 14 backs, chances are you're not gonna play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if there's 3 and the one's a senior, chances are you can play.
Yeah.
You got a slot to step in.
You got to start growing up and doing your due diligence and looking at the roster, and then talking to the coach, because a coach will come and go, they'll get fired. So it's not about the coach; it's about where I can play, show my ability, and where would I want to graduate if my plan B has to come about.
Correct.
So that's the biggest thing from what I've seen now, and then. You got to understand the transfer portal now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You think it's being abused?
That's a big one.
Huh?
You think the portal's being abused?
I think it's a lot going on.
Or are they hiding, running away from their problems?
It's a whole bunch of things. Some running away from their problem. Some are in it because of the coach. Some are in it because they have to.
Yeah.
So it's a gang of things, but the kids come and it's killing high school recruiting. So again, you're competing with JUCO. You're competing with the transfer portal, and you're competing with the people on the depth chart that's already there. So stop taking the mentality of I'm gonna go D1 or bust. Go wherever you're gonna go play and get the free education.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
That is the main goal, because they're gonna find you.
And that's what I was going to ask you next, because a lot of kids are thinking D1, D1.
Yeah.
But D1 ain't necessarily the answer.
No,
education is the answer.
It is.
We shouldn't care if it's D1, D2, NAIA, Division 3, 2, 1.
Right.
Okay, whatever's going to give you the opportunity to get that passport to success.
To success, yeah.
Because we talk about this all the time, and tell me your thoughts on this. I hear people all the time say, well, I got to get outside the box. All the talent is down here. I want to go down here and play. It's not where you play, it's where you at. Would you agree?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so whatever league I'm in, I got to be the best that I'm going to be in that league. It doesn't have anything to do with the amount of talent I'm going up against.
Right.
It's got the matter to do with me competing with me.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Because that's what a win is.
Yep. And it's funny you said that, because when I was in 7th, 8th grade, you hear DeSoto, you hear Duncanville, you hear the South Lake Carroll. So I'm like, oh, I like that team. I want to play for them. And not knowing, now you can't just go to a school just
Can't just jump ship.
Can't just jump ship. We got UIL here. So, looking at those teams, I'm like, man, I want to play for them. Just go out there and win state championships and whatnot. And then you come to reality and I'm like, well, you got to go to Alito. Okay, well, I got to go compete against whoever I'm going to compete against to be going to compete with a Duncanville or a South Lake or whatever.
Get to that
level. And so as I'm doing that, and we're scoring touchdowns, we're winning state championships, and I'm starting to get recruited, it's like, well, okay.
We did it.
Wherever I'm at, they're going to come find me. And that's what they did. Alabama's at my football game. Texas is at Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. So it's not necessarily about where you are. It's about what you're doing where you're at.
Right.
Correct.
So that kills
they came to you.
That kills the discussion we had about exposure. Remember we was talking about that earlier?
Yeah, me and him was early this morning. We was talking about exposure.
Right.
We was talking about these flag teams playing in all these different tournaments to get exposure.
Right.
So my question to Mike and to others, what is exposure?
Right.
Okay, because it doesn't matter if I'm playing over in Fort Worth
Right.
or playing in Miami, Florida.
Right.
The exposure is me. I didn't hear Floyd Mayweather saying, in order for me to be the #1 boxer in the world, I got to go to Golden Boy.
Right.
He said, I make me. In making me, they got to come see me.
Right.
And all I got to do is win.
And you got exposure. You got to be careful about what you're getting exposed to.
Correct.
Just because I go out and play
See,
against the best people,
We ain't hit that one.
Hold on.
I might be exposing myself to injuries.
Yeah.
I might be.
Say it again.
I might be exposing myself to something I'm not ready for. That's why you mentioned Floyd Mayweather. That's why they pick and choose who they getting ready to fight. Because if I go out and fight, if I go out and fight Floyd Mayweather, my first fight trying to go get a title fight, he gonna knock me out. Then I lose my chance.
Yeah.
So.
I get knocked so far down the hill till I can't
get back up. So that's why all this exposure and these kids are playing year round. Coach Greg, who's our director at AP Ranch, he said it best: you don't grow standing up. The kids need rest. The kids need recovery. The kids need to actually start switching sports to understand and help out. Multi-sports.
So before we go to that, did you do multi-sports?
Oh yeah, I played soccer, ran track, played football, played basketball. Played baseball, but I didn't really like it, which I should have stayed with it.
Yeah,
but it was a little bit too slow. It was just too slow for me as a kid. But then as you get older and you start learning, they get paid a lot of money.
A little bit more mature.
And it's guaranteed.
And less wear and tear.
And less wear and tear. So getting out, and I felt when I was in high school playing football, you get beat up and whatnot. But then playing AAU basketball, for me, since I was a football guy, I got my time. And I played with some great guys, and so I, went out there, did what I was supposed to do, stopped their best player, get a couple turnouts, and I'm sitting on the bench.
Yeah,
I'm getting rest through the summer.
Exactly.
Getting ready for football.
Yeah.
Right. So the kids need to play multi-purpose sports, and they don't need to play all year round.
These all-American games and things of that nature, right?
Who cares? You can't take all these medals with you when you going to school.
Yeah.
Right.
Texas doesn't care what I did. They don't care if I won 3 state
Say that again.
They don't care if I won a Super Bowl with Hallmark Eagles.
National championship.
Right. They want to know what I can do now.
Yeah.
The league doesn't care about your national championship. They want you to be able to come out and win them a Super Bowl and perform. Right. So all these people that's like, oh, we won the 8th grade Super Bowl and I got the bet. Okay, that's cool. What is it when this kid turns 18? Where is he getting ready to go to school? Is his body ready to compete with the guys he's getting ready to play against?
Body. Hold on. Let's get on that body though, man. Let's get on the body, man.
Yeah.
It was funny. Because when Reginald called me, Cottonham, shout out to Reginald Cottonham.
He in the building too, man, inside the comments, man.
Ham called me.
All-American.
And he said, Coach D. I said, yes, sir. He said, man, you need to have Johnathan Gray. He was naming names. Noah Kane on the show. He said, these guys got a testament. And I said, a testament to what, Ham? He said, to greatness. And I said, then that's what I needed to hear, Ham. I said, so how do we make it happen? He said, I'm a Golden Bear, you're a Golden Bear. I said, okay, but that guy's a Lido guy. He a Bearcat.
But y'all supposed to make it happen, though.
I said, how we going to make a Bearcat from a Lido come to... he said, man, it's already happening. So he said, let me call him and tell him. So that's how we ended up talking. And I told him, I said, man, I like that. I said, I went and I looked at your biography. That was the first thing I did. Because 35 North, we try to attract people that are going to be conducive to the type of show we run.
Right.
And the show we run is about kids. And so we want people that come on here to tell us what's going to help promulgate these kids to a level to be leaders in the community. We care nothing about what league you play in, how many national championships you don't won. All that's fine and dandy. What we care about is the principle of the man. Right. And so that's why we got you here. And we're happy to Ham. Shout out to Ham one more time for making sure we got a great one. And you have been a testament for the state of Texas.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, seriously. And I think what you're doing for the kids that are coming up for the future is a testament to giving back.
Right.
I want you to go into that
in the comments right now.
I want you to go into the importance of that because I know Hallmark Eagles teach foundation first, God, then family, and then everything else falls below that.
Like you said, you got to have a foundation. And for these kids, I mean, they're like sponges. They want to suck up all the knowledge that you can give them. So if it's good, it's going to be great. You're going to have a good child growing up, and you're going to have some kinks along the way. But they have that foundation to always fall back on. If the foundation starts rocky or starts with nothing, and you can try to build on it, all it is going to come falling apart faster than anything. So we talk about development. Kids, well, what does development look like? Are we having to slow everything down and start with, I don't know, for me, working out the kids is how can we lift the bar? We ain't got to put no weight on it. We ain't even have to touch the bar. Right. How do we get in that function of moving the bar? Well, we just, squatting down, making sure our feet are in the proper position and making sure technique is proper before we go and pick up that bar. Now, when we pick up that bar, now if it starts to get a little rocky, well, we got a strong foundation and we know how to get our foundation and make the adjustments. Yeah. So that goes with anything outside of weights and sports. The foundation has to be strong in order for a kid to be successful growing up, because you're going to get knocked down, you're going to have some turbulence, you're going to have adversity and blah, blah, blah. But if that foundation is strong,
you can make the adjustments.
You'll make the adjustments and you'll be okay.
And that's the thing, I think, as coaches, we have to understand this game of football, basketball, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. We're teaching these kids life skills.
Right.
And that's what we should be teaching. It's not about to win,
right?
But we like to win. Just like you like to win, I like to win, we like to win. Right. But we have to understand that these kids must understand the adjustments that they're going to have to make in life skills. And you made that with your injuries, and that's why I asked you to speak on that, because you had to make a plan B and go into action.
Right.
You had a plan A, okay, but you also had a plan B.
Right.
And we hope we never have to use the plan B, but in the event we have to, we got to be ready to make that adjustment.
You always got to be ready, and you got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
I like that.
And so, it starts with a foundation, and if we can truly understand what development children means and get back to just a simple foundation. We might not like it because it's slow, but I would like it in 10 years from now when he's prospering or she's prospering because of what we did when they were a kid. So be patient. I preach to the parents, be patient with your child. Your child doesn't need to be an All-American right now. Let's build on what they have and continue to build them up, and whatever that is. If they have a great grade, build that up, give them confidence. If they do something great in sports, whatever it is, give somebody some water, or make a good block, or help a teammate tie a shoestring. Whatever that is, give them that confidence, and and that lets them know that you're in their corner, and then they want to continue to get better and better and better. Not just dogging them out and making it all about championships and trophies.
So cursing them out ain't gonna do no good.
Cursing them out ain't gonna do no good. That's never worked.
Never worked. Now, one thing you said along that line, and you said the first day you went out there on that field, you got popped, and you gave up. Said, hell, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
Football ain't my game.
Ain't for me.
But when you said that popping right there is what gave you the ability to overcome the adversity of life.
For sure. Oh, for sure. When I got hit and I was like, this ain't it. And again, my parent, my dad.
He didn't let you give up.
And he didn't let me give up. So we took the bath, and he sat me down and said, hey, you're going to get back up. These things are going to happen. Right. Look, you're fine now. Nothing's happened to you since that incident. So you haven't died yet. So strap on your boots and let's go.
Let's go.
I like that.
That makes sense because, I'm still here. I stopped crying. The pain's kind of going away. Okay. Right. If this is all it's going to give, I think I can take this and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so having that mentality, and from that point on, it just gave me anything that comes in my way, where there be adversity at work or at home or whatnot, I know how to sit back and think about it and then execute the plan.
Yeah.
Because of that foundation from when I was a kid.
Right.
So when you're getting ready to be a freshman at Texas, were they ever paying attention to your size at all, like your bulk or how big your hands is, how big your feet is? Were they paying attention to any of that?
No, it's funny. So when you're getting recruited by college and you're at the university, they really only care about, is this kid getting better and can he play his position? They're not talking about, his hand, how big is his hands, or how much does he weigh relatively. If he's too heavy, then they got to knock off weight. But relatively speaking, is he in good shape, and can he play?
Yeah.
Because we turned on the film, we like what we've seen on the film. Can he play with the big boys
at this level?
Level, it's not about how tall is he, what size is his hands, how much. It's not about that. Where's his heart? Where is his heart? And so it's funny that you go through all that in college, and then you do whatever you need to do. You ball out in college, and you put a whole resume on film, and then you have the NFL come out and be like, well,
scrutinizing you.
how big is his hands? How much does he weigh? How tall is he? Well, if you click on the film, he's a baller.
Yeah.
So why do I care about how tall or how big is his hands, or can he catch the? He can catch. Look at the film. So it's funny that college and football kind of have a different
at certain
measuring tool, I guess, at certain levels. So, but yes, in college they care about one thing: how big is your heart, and can you play? And if you get hit, because you're going to get hit, can you get back up?
Can you take it?
Can you take it? So, for any kid that is out there getting ready to go to college, I would say time management is the biggest thing, and just stay strong, keep your head up, understand you're going to go through growing pains, and just get through them and grow from them and learn from them, and continue to build your career.
Correct.
I asked Earl Thomas the night that he was getting ready to get drafted back in 2006. I said, I asked him the simple question. I said, man, what advice would you give me or give anybody else? He was like, get with your position coach. Your position coach will be your best friend or whatever. What merit of that is true? Is that 100% true of what he's saying?
Shoes, yeah. I mean, your position coach is going to tell the head coach, well, I think Johnathan is ready, or I think Jonathan's not ready. So going to your position coach and, hey, coach, what do we have on this? I need to learn this? Can you help me with the playbook? That gives them confidence and like, oh, okay, I think I can play this kid because I'm teaching him and he's learning and he wants to learn. You can't just sit back and think, he's coachable. You can't just sit back and be like, oh, well, I'm going to just get the playbook on my own and I'm going to just go to practice. It's not going to work like that because for one, you're not going to play if I can't trust you.
True.
And if I can't, as a position coach, if I can't see that you're giving all that you can give, I'm not trying to play you because then you're going to cost me my job. And so that's the way that they think. And so you got to get with your position coach because they're the ones who are going to say yay or nay.
They're the recommendation.
They're the recommendation, and you need a good recommendation. So if you want to play, get with your position coach and actually start to learn from it. And because they know what they're doing, and they'll help you get to where you need to be. Because most of them have played or been around the NFL, so they know tips and tricks. They know what they're looking for. So, most definitely get with your position coach.
Yeah.
So how early do you start the IQ level of, like you talking about the position running back? How early in the youth do you start preparing them IQ wise for that?
Shoot,
or just
as soon as possible.
Or are you just straight work on just skill set development?
No. So I the football aspect of it, I work with a few football kids around the area and whatnot, and we work on the skill type, but then we'll sit back and then just start talking about what do you see on this, and bring me your film. So what do you see on this, and what do you think will help you get to where you need to be? Because everybody's different. So just learning, talking to them and having them give you feedback, I think that helps them to realize, like, oh, okay, now I see this makes sense of what coach. This is what coach was talking about. Oh, this makes it easier for me, so this is why I did. Okay, cool. Now I know that you're a student of the game and you're actually learning, not just getting the ball and running.
So let me ask you a question. In your youth development, what would you say your major strength was and your weakness was? Was it your first step? Was it?
For me, it was slowing down.
So you just had to put the brakes on a little bit?
I had to put the brakes on because I was one of those, like, just give me the ball and I'm going to take off running with it and they got to come catch me.
Just go.
And I'm strong enough because I've been doing my sit-ups and push-ups, I can bounce off a few tackles. So I had to slow it down to really understand, well, if I can't outrun this guy or I can't just bounce off this tackle, how can I help myself and put myself in a good position if all that goes away? So slowing down and really understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, that helped me a lot in seeing the field. Cool. And then now you go fast forward and you go to high school and you go to college. Now I see things predetermined because I know what to look for in the defense.
Correct.
The safeties tell us the safeties tell the story on the defense.
That is true.
So we should all be knowing that when we're at this youth level. As an offensive guy and you're sitting there in the backfield, the safeties always tell the story. So knowing that and just picking up cues in games and just listening to what they're saying on that side, to whether they call a blitz or whatnot, just picking up on little things.
And you know where they're coming from.
And you know where they're coming from. And that helps you slow the game down a little bit and understand where you need to go.
Where you need to go.
And it also gets you on that field quicker, too.
It also gets you on that field quicker. You can't get in that meeting room and coach say, Johnathan, so what we got on this play and what does this person do?
You got two safeties back there covered, too.
They like, nope, no, we can't play you.
Can't play you.
So they really quiz you on the dime like that.
We talk about how when the pads come on, everybody disappear. Get on that whiteboard.
We say everybody start stepping back.
So that's why.
Coach say, hey, who want to get on this whiteboard first? You don't see too many hands raised. Because you know who's in that playbook and who's actually really learning the game. So,
you're on the square.
So this is my next question is how many of those athletes actually putting in that extra mile? Because at University of Texas or at any major university or any university at that, you're one step away from the ultimate goal. How many of them do you actually see putting in that extra work just to get to that ultimate goal?
Man, I can say, just speaking from Texas, because I can't speak for anybody else, but having a coach, what Mac Brown did was have great coaches around us. So, he had the Applewhites, the Stacy Searles, dudes who knew the game in and out and really kind of, I wouldn't say handicapped us, but made us come in that meeting room and told us this is what we need to be learning and showed us and made us get on that board and draw up everything until we knew what we was doing. If we didn't know what we was doing, you had to stay in that room.
Guidance.
So dudes was like, okay, well, one or two things are going to happen. I'm not going to play or I'm going to learn it. You have no choice. So if we're doing all this stuff to help you learn this on the field, and you're still not necessarily getting it, or that means you're really not caring, because we're doing everything we need to. So for the University of Texas, when, the coaches we have for Mac Brown, they gave us all the tools we needed. So if you're not taking that step, that's on you. So guys were like, okay, well, I want to play for the University of Texas, and I want to step on the field and help my teammates out. So you saw guys in the meeting rooms and watching film, in the locker room, studying the playbook, and that's what helped us become better as a unit and make things happen on the field.
And that make you work. Because everybody else is working.
And make you work because everybody else is. I mean, we had, you talk about Earl Thomas and Jamal Charles and all those guys. They would come out and help us and quiz us. We out there doing 7-on-7 stuff, and then, hey, what do you got on this? What are you reading on this? And so,
what's your cue?
What's your cue? So having NFL guys come back and teach you that stuff, it just, I mean, you
makes
want
a
to get
difference.
better. It makes a difference. So yeah.
Now you're doing that for other kids,
right?
Because we were talking also this morning. We have to give back to the youth.
Right.
Talk to me about what you're doing and how people could reach out to you if they need your assistance. Put a plug out there for yourself,
right?
Or how they can reach you.
So right now I'm training youth athletes from middle school to high school in AP Ranch, right here in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm training them, and they can reach me from there, apranch.org, or they can come out, and my email is Gray, GRAY .Johnathan, JOHNATHAN 32 @yahoo.com, and they can reach out and send me their information, and let's get this thing started. Because I'm helping the kids learn not only how to lift a weight or how to run a ball or how to catch a ball, but what is it that we're doing in the playbook? What are we doing in the film room? How can we get better, not only just playing, but how can we teach the
next
game
level
ourselves,
stuff?
the next level stuff. So yeah, that was the biggest thing for me, because I didn't necessarily have that growing up. Yeah, I had my dad, but eventually your dad stops being your coach and you have to go start learning on your own. So I didn't have anybody necessarily or know anybody to go to get that sit-down film session and really learn how to watch film and study film.
And how to critique.
Or to critique. So, kind of learn as you go. And then so me knowing all that stuff, I want to start it when they're young. That way they already have that tool going into college.
So it's easier for them to make that transition.
Now you're in the meeting room, and when coach tells you what's the over and under front, you're like, damn, this is what it is.
I learned that back in
I learned this
Pee-wee.
back in Pee-wee.
Exactly.
So, and this is things we should be knowing, and that's what.
How the two gap.
Yeah,
and
how the
things
two gap and all that stuff. So that's what we need to be teaching.
And that's what I think those same things that we teach on the field equates back over into life skills. You know, because what people don't understand, the game of football prepares us for the game of life. You know, and once we get that part down, then there's nothing in life that we can't overcome. There's no obstacle we can't overcome. Because we've been through all the adversity on the football field. And when I look at a guy like you, the things you went to Achilles tear. There's nothing in this life that you can't overcome.
Joe can't.
Those are the toughest injuries known to man.
They are. And what's crazy is after I tore my second one, I went to the Giants rookie camp and had a great rookie camp, but the injury. So you know they don't want to touch nobody with a torn Achilles. But then after that, then Coach Gray got me back on the track, and I went out and started running unattached pro track. So, you know, like you said, there's nothing in this world that you can't do. You just got to put your mind to it.
Right.
So,
let me ask you something. And maybe you played last year, right?
Oh yeah, and then I played for the Frisco
Firefighters.
Yeah.
Yep. How did that go? That's indoor.
It went well. It's indoor, and you know, it was one of those things to where they already kind of had their team set, and I just came, and you know, I had fun. They only traveled one back, and shout out to DeMarcus Felton. Great back. He's from University of Texas Tech. So he did his thing. He did his thing. He got Rookie of the Year, I think, as running back, and so he did his thing out there. And so being behind him and just going out there and running around and hitting and playing football again, it was all fun. It was exciting. So so yeah, I had a great time and did well there. And you know, like I said, there's nothing in this world that can necessarily stop me. You know?
Right. Well, we want to thank you for gracing that show.
Yes, sir.
With your presence, man.
Thank you.
It was truly an honor and a pleasure to sit up here and hear your story.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And
I enjoyed it.
We would like to have you back later.
Yeah.
At some point in time. And 35 NAWF, just wanted to thank you for.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
We appreciate you, bro.
Thank y'all.
One more question, man.
One more
Top 5 backs.
Top 5?
Top 5.
Ooh, of NFL, college, it don't matter.
List them.
Man, we got to go Barry Sanders.
Okay.
We gotta
Sweetness.
We got to go Marshall Faulk.
Okay.
We got to go Sean McCoy.
Okay.
And then, let's see, I'll take a Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And then I'll take Adrian Peterson.
And that's Johnathan Gray right there. All 5 of them, man, is Johnathan Gray. What you get, what you see in all 5 is what you gonna get in this man.
Yeah.
On the Super Bowl, what you got for the Super Bowl?
I got the Rams. I hated that.
That's a good choice.
I hated that my boy Malcolm Brown got traded the year I think it was this year, but he was with them last year. But he got traded this year. I wanted him to get a Super Bowl. But shout out Ashawn Robinson.
Okay.
Town.
All right, well, everybody get your picks in for the Super Bowl. We thank y'all for joining in and tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Much love. Please keep sharing this page, please.
And we can't wait till next week. We got another great coming next week. We'll let you know who.
Thank you. Keep sharing.
Signing out.
Keep sharing. May 21st, May 22nd, King of the North. 7 on 7. Sign up. Get with any of these gentlemen, these 3. Buddy Wayne, we love you. And share this page, man.
And we got Blue Chip coming up. We're going to share that information with you in the next week or 2. It's going to be a big event coming this way.
Yes, sir.
The Blue Chip top players in the country will be gracing the great state of Texas.